And we are live! Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Iodrarune Fables. Firstly, I am the Dungeon Master for the first section of today's festivities. Um, as per the usual, what we did last season is continuing in a fashion. I run a 90-minute, usually, game, um, and that is our Fable. And then we will have a short break. And when we return from that, we will have another game that we refer to as For Hire that will be run by Min. And so, grand total, what we're looking at about 3 hours or so of playtime, 2.5 of playtime with breaks and pre stream stuff. Um, in any case, let's go ahead and meet the players for this season's Fable. Tiff, who are you and who are you playing? Tiff, are you still with us?
I can't hear you if you're talking.
Do I have to do it this way? This is how I have to do it, isn't it? Hello?
Evidently, because we can
Yeah,
hear you
there we
now.
go.
Now you can hear me? Okay, fantastic. It's like I never know whether I've got like the push to talk or not going on. Fantastic. All right. Hi. So I'm Tiff. Um, I am going to be playing Ludovic, uh, who is uh, I've just totally blanked on him right now. He's a bard of some sort. I'll have to get back to you.
He's just
Min,
a
you
silly
go
little
because I'm
guy.
stuck.
He's just a
Yeah.
silly little guy. Yeah, Minerva, who are you and who are you playing?
Yes. So I'm Minerva, and for this game, I'm going to be playing Brittany, the paladin, who is part of the royal family of the setting that we will have in
Yes,
this stream. So this should be kind of interesting.
we will be diving into things very shortly. Give me just a moment to switch over to the map. I really like that sort of skyscape map. So yeah, we are beginning in the city of Valen, on the on a landmass also called Valen. It is named and sort of owned slash controlled, however you want to phrase it, by the Vale family. And this peninsula was settled by the Vale family coming from the greater continent. Uh, but it was originally home to an array of goblinoid, as in goblin, hobgoblin, bugbear, etc., groups. And then it was also home to an array of beast folk. So there were some tabaxi, there were likely turtle in the like rockier areas near the coast, various other sort of animal folk. Um, the we are in the same broad setting that we were in last season. We are in the world of Iodrarune, though the world itself would not have been called that during our time. In the broader history of the setting, um, it was originally, as the introductory slideshow helped sort of illustrate. Um, this was a world that came to be completely separate from the cosmology of Dungeons and Dragons. It was not connected to the various planes, to the Feywild, to the elemental planes, to the hells, to the celestial planes. So a lot of races that we're familiar with seeing don't exist here yet. Elves have not come from the Fey realm yet. There is no Jinn blood in this world. There are no tieflings running around yet, and various other things. The the religions of this world are still being built, so to speak, and at the moment primarily consist of either ancestor worship or nature worship and worship of the primal forces. Um, Perhaps had this world been given time, gods of these various things, of the various forces that the world's cultures identified with and worshipped, in time, gods may have developed. They may have come into being. Um, However, before that could have happened, while this world was still being built, an event occurred that opened it up to the cosmology that we're familiar with. The Shadowfell, the Hells, etc., etc., etc. And our story begins shortly before that. The Vale family and the settlements that the Vale family encouraged or built are primarily human settled. Amongst them, a number of animal, beast folk have additionally cohabitated with, while the goblinoid tribes and communities of the peninsula have largely retreated to a rocky, sharp, mountainous region near the coast known as the Jagged Dawn. This region, as stated, consists of a lot of sharp, rocky peaks that seem to glitter at dawn and at sunset with mithril deposits that are in the rocks. Um, South of the peninsula is a small island by the name of Ignis. And this is the pinnacle, the absolute top of a mostly underwater volcano, um, long since dormant, even by this point, that serves as the entrance to a um, a deep gnome community near the island. Though tension with the deep gnomes has been a constant presence even before the Vale family was here a few hundred years ago. Um, all of that being said, where we pick up today is in the city of Valen, here on the plateau in the center of the landmass. Um, every year, the city of Valen, and perhaps the peninsula at large, though Brittany herself would not know this just because of not having a lot of details about the greater landmass. Um, the city of Valen has a celebration honoring the signing of the Morning Veil Agreement. Morning like the dawn, hyphen, veil like the family, um, as in VALE. The Morning Veil Agreement was signed and is enforced between the Jagged Dawn goblins and the human communities that the Vale family overlooks as a treatise of sorts. The Vale family has pledged to protect and help the goblin communities as much as they can in times of strife, in times of difficulty. And in return, the goblin groups have agreed to cohabitate with them, to share the landmass without further strife. This agreement narrowly avoided an all out war on the landmass, and something that would have been disastrous with the Vale family's benefactor being the Craig family over on the continent. This could have resulted in a vicious, bloody, bloody war. Um, and it's something that has stood for near 100, 150 years now. Um, and it is sort of the cornerstone of the peninsula's function. Um, so, we pick up in the city of Valen. Regrettably, I do not have a city map this evening, but it is in process. Anyway, um, Brittany, you find yourself in the main building of the castle in the center of town. This city of Valen consists of a castle with its walls and various accoutrements, surrounded by a town of an array of buildings, and around that is a simpler wall that sort of protects it from any issues. The castle itself is perched high on the edge of this plateau and overlooks the bulk of the. I keep wanting to say island, the bulk of the peninsula. You can see over the hills and beyond. You can see some of the forestry that is over those hills. You can see some of the other towns if you squint, although this early in the morning it tends to be covered in a low mist that cuts off a lot of visibility. Um, you, well, why don't you tell me? I believe we had said that you had just come back home out of a feeling of duty, of necessity to be here. Yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
So you're not just waking up, but it is still early in the morning. What might Brittany have been doing, say, an hour and a half after getting up in the morning?
She would just be, after having breakfast and all, she would just be kind of wandering around the main hall, kind of admiring the view a little bit, just because she hasn't been back in a little while. And I think by this time she probably would have gotten back from a visit up to the Craig's lands up in the north, and so kind of happy to be back, kind of happy to be away from it all. She's just kind of looking out over the landscape and just kind of contemplating things.
Awesome. Yeah, and I will say, like, from that traveling as well, um, you know that the Craigs are preparing to expand further into the continent as well. They're looking to expand inward and continue building out their burgeoning empire. Though the impression you get from some of the people under the Craigs is that this is little more than a vanity project for the family. It's more of a status symbol than any actual ambition or any. It is not a strategic decision. It is purely an ego decision. Um, so yeah. As you are sort of wandering the battlements and looking out over the plateau and across the land, roll me a perception check. Let's just see if you notice anything in the mists or anything of that sort.
Let me bring up my sheet here. Perception. That is a 6.
I forgot it doesn't start you at the bottom. Give me just a moment here. Oop, that's not what I want. Sorry, give me just a moment. I need to adjust the. I was a hubristic fool. That's okay. All right, a 6. Looking out, the only thing you really notice is vast arrays of mist. Just it's almost as if the entire land is wreathed in cotton. But as you're sort of gazing out, you hear footsteps approaching on the stonework. And as you turn to see them, you recognize one of your father's advisors, someone that you had spent a lot of time with growing up, because they are very closely associated with the armies, the militaries of the Vale family, of Valen. I know how to talk. Shush. This is well, you knew him as Edgar. He insisted that you refer to him by his first name. He is an older human man by this point. One eye is covered by a leather eye patch, and he leaves one arm bare from his leather armor. He leaves one arm bare, and on it you see an array of animal tattoos and scars. And he has a rather hefty double-sided axe on his back. Oh, good morning, Miss Vale. What was that?
Good morning.
It's good to have you home. Were you in the middle of something? Did you see anything of note out there?
On the contrary, I'm actually rather bored.
boredom. How dreadful. Well, perhaps you'd like to accompany me to ensure that the men are ready for today, yes? You know what day it is, right?
Do I know what day it is?
Roll a history check, just for fun.
Okay, let me, I keep forgetting the one-button command to bring up my sheet, but I'll just do this real quick.
I just drag it down to my hotbar and click it that way.
That's another 6. Why do I keep rolling 6s?
It's a bad day, I guess.
Or a great day, depending on how you feel about it.
Nope,
Maybe 6 is her lucky number. No.
You have no idea. You've been, I'm sorry, the DC was not 5. A DC
Why-
that low,
why
I wouldn't even
not?
ask you to roll. No, yeah, you think for a second. You've been traveling too much. Your sense of time has gotten really skewed. Whether it's horse lag? What would you call jet lag in a world without jets?
We're going to call it horse lag now. That's a thing. It's horse lag.
road lag.
Remind me again, what day is it?
Oh, you've been gone so long. Well, it is Morning Veil Day.
Oh, that.
Sorry.
Right.
It was a turn of phrase I wasn't expecting. Right. So I need to go ensure that the men are ready for the day, that things are more or less taken care of. Do you want to accompany me?
Oh, I would love to.
Wonderful. Come. Let us visit them. Let us go. And he sort of holds out his arm, for you to like hook your arm through if you want to.
Yep,
and
he does so.
Awesome. We will step away from that for just a moment. Ludwig, you and I did not discuss why Ludwig came to Valen. We did not determine this. Do you have an idea of, is it just idle curiosity? Do you think he was told to come here? Why do you think he's here?
In the life of a traveling bard, you go where the stories are to be told. And this just happened to be the place where the stories need to be told now.
Delightful. Okay, so you find yourself waking up in the inn that you booked a night for. Mercifully, you were able to ply your bardly trade for the night, so you didn't even have to spend any coin on it. Roll me a d20 and a d10 as well.
Just a straight D20 and D10.
Yes, please.
All right.
Wow, we're after a great start, rolling really low.
I mean, we know how I roll. This is not surprising.
No, it isn't.
I like that my D10 is
wow.
twice as good as my
Yeah.
D20. That
No,
makes me
that's a
happy.
good thing in this case. That's a good thing in this
Oh,
case.
good.
So many
So-
6s.
I can't get that jump to bottom button to go away. I don't know. Something's weird with Stream View. Anyway,
We'll handle it later.
in your activities last night, you also managed to earn 6 silver and 3 copper.
Sweet. I'll
Um,
add that to my...
Yes. So you come to the smell of bacon and toasting bread and coffee is wafting into your room. This is a relatively small inn, only 4 or 5 rooms at any given time. And it's all sort of situated around a central fire and bar. And you're just sort of laying here for a moment, smelling the food and listening to the sounds of morning, as it were. And then you hear a loud clanging sound as the inn's matron starts banging on a cast iron skillet with a wooden spoon to wake up all of the denizens of the inn. All right, come and get your breakfast. Come on. Just bang, 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 bang. And that goes on for about 30 seconds or so. She doesn't do it for a super long time. But any sleep that you had left has abandoned you now. Do you want to obtain breakfast, or do you think you would just skip out on breakfast and wander the town?
So as she's banging the plates, banging the pans or whatever, he goes from kind of like that blissful waking up from the happy, ooh, it's like fantastic breakfast smell to just kind of like that cringing, tight feeling, like all that relaxingness from actually being able to rest. And now it's like, nope, we're just going to be like super tight and like controlled with everything. Ooh. Well, that was certainly a thing. He will get up, kind of shake his hair out, find his gear, and put it on real quick. He has a couple instruments that seem to be kind of in pristine condition. They don't seem to be something that he actually uses, but he just kind of carries them around more for like decoration than
Mm-hmm.
anything else. So he grabs his viol, he kind of puts it on his side. He has a lyre that he's got like strapped to his back. Again, just kind of shakes his hair out and just like gives him like looks himself once over in the mirror, like, yeah, I'd hit that. And then heads down to breakfast.
Great. Yeah, more over to breakfast. This is not a two-level inn. But yes, and you come out, and there are a couple of other people that are bleary eyed and stumbling from their room. One of them, a dwarven man, is walking away from the inn's matron with a large mug of coffee and a very grumpy look on his face. Do you speak dwarven?
It's a great question. Let me find out. I actually do. I speak Dwarvish.
Great. I will not repeat them here for the sake of our rating, but Ludwig hears him mumbling an array of, let's charitably call them colorful words in Dwarven, as he walks away from the human woman running the inn. And she turns
He
toward you. What's up?
he has kind of like a slight smirk on his face as he hears all of the colorful cursing from the denizen leaving the inn, and just kind of nods to the innkeeper. And we're going to say, "Did you have a good night?"
Eh, eh, normal, I suppose. How was your evening? And she like
Oh,
gestures out with the coffee. And this was something that you met last night, of course. Her name is Anna, and she is the, as I said, the matron of the inn. Elderly woman. She is actually dwarven herself as well. She has bushy red hair that seems to be going gray at the roots and has a few streaks of gray through it. Um, and an apron that is covered in various stains, anywhere between 3 minutes and 3 years old. Um, Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
no, you're all good. So he'll turn on kind of like a charming smile and just kind of like lean over and it's like, dearest Anna, that was the best sleep I've had in a fortnight. It was wonderful accommodations. You should be very, very proud of yourself.
Are you telling the truth?
That's a whole other thing.
I know, but I'm gonna have you roll dice. But I need to know: is
All right.
Ludwig telling the truth?
No.
Okay, roll a deception then. It was
All
gonna be
right. Hold.
either persuasion or deception, but it depended on whether you were telling the truth.
I guess. Fine. 16.
There we go. That's pretty good. Uh, she blushes a little and just like turns her head. Look, do you want coffee or not? I have things to do.
I would love a cup of coffee. Thank you, dearest.
Of course, of course. And she, like, without making eye contact with you, pours a cup of coffee and hands it to you and gestures toward a couple of cast iron skillets sitting around the central fire that still have cooking breakfast things in them, bread,
As
meat,
she
whatever.
hands him his cup, he will make sure to just kind of like lightly brush her fingers as he takes the cup.
She just kind of like giggles and like tries to wave you off and go back, but like milling about doing innkeeper things. After you have your breakfast, what do you think Ludwig would be up to? Would he go see anything in particular? Would he? What do you think he would do?
That's a great question. Do we have a larger map?
At the
We've
moment,
got
I
a
do
larger map.
not.
Okay.
It is
So Valen's kind of
unfortunately.
like hanging out in the middle of the continent here,
Yes. I
or
can
the
zoom
middle of the
out on
peninsula,
this
I
map.
guess. That'd be, or if you wanted to shift to like the other map, that would work too. Just kind of get an idea.
You mean the other like stream setup?
Yeah, if you want to shift the stream to kind of like the bigger, or that works too. Um, there we go. That way I can kind of see.
So
So
you
Valen,
would have come down several days ago, probably by the time you got
mhm,
here. But you would have come down through Cormorant Bridge, up here on the
up in the top. Okay.
yeah. You would have come down this way. Probably would have stopped in Heartvale a while back, and then made your way to Valen.
So tell me a little bit more about Valen. It's kind of like in the center of this area here, but we've got it's like it's mountainside, it's prairie. We're kind of like getting a little bit of both. We've got a cliff. What are we looking at here?
Yeah. So Valen sits on the top of a plateau or on the edge. I don't know. It sits on the edge of like a flatland that overlooks a second plateau and hills and mountains beyond. This is where sometimes things get a little wonky with randomly generated things. Um,
Indeed.
yes, geographically it's a little wonky.
No,
Uh,
that's totally fine. So he's kind of like on a plateau overlooking kind of a valley. You can see mountains kind of in the
Yeah. Well,
distance.
and this is effectively someone's like paper map, you know? Like
Right.
this isn't a true to life model of the landmass. Think of it as if the plateau that Valen sits on is the higher of those two plateaus, so it's like going down towards the western eastern side of the island. Um
Okay.
and these mountains on the south side of the island. I'm gesturing with my mouse like people can see it and they
Can
can't.
see like yeah.
Um
I mean, like if you move your mouse over it, I could actually see it. You just have to move your mouse. There you go.
Yep, I'm
That.
doing that. Give me a minute.
What's up?
I had to switch to the other window. So yeah, these mountains are taller than these plateaus. Um, this plateau is shorter than this one, so it sort of like goes down, going this way.
Got it.
Um, and Valen Castle essentially has its back to these plateaus. So the like bedrooms and a lot of those areas of the castle overlook the landmass, while the city like float comes out this way. Does that make sense?
I think so. So like in the inn, uh, what Ludwig would do is he would kind of like snatch a second croissant and not like kind of give a wink to Anna as he sips his coffee and kind of steps out and takes a look around the city and just kind of see what's going on.
Okay, great. Make a perception check for me as you traverse the town.
Perception check. I can do that.
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
Not very well. What's up with the
So much
sixes?
It's a bit of a night, I guess.
It's
And it's like
apparently a
different
night.
rolls too, so it's not like stuck.
I know. It's like I'm just like he's woken up, but honestly, he was in that blissful state. And then the pots and pans, he was like now nursing a little bit of a headache, which he's trying to stave off now with the coffee. Like, oh.
No, of course. Um yeah, wandering through, the sun is rather bright this morning. And by this point, by the time you've had your breakfast and stuff, a lot of the early morning coolness, the mist has begun to fade, and you are stepping into a very bright day. And as you are nursing that headache and trying to look after that, a couple of times you get knocked in the elbow or shoulder checked or whatever, as people are milling about doing their various things. Roll a dexterity saving throw for me, just for fun, just to see.
Oh yeah, that's just a fun thing I like to
Uh
do.
huh. Good.
Uh huh.
You should. They're fun.
Yeah.
They're fun to
Yeah.
make.
Okay. I
Here,
that's what I'm gonna do.
here come that fifth,
Saving
sixth.
throw.
Yes.
Let's see. Are we gonna bet on a 6? Do I get a like? Can I do inverse
16
for like
inverse,
this
so
6 here? You know, I can inverse still, there, right?
Sure, if you want to.
I might, given all these rolls.
You roll your only nat 20 of the season if you inverse, though.
This is how it works, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna inverse and roll a nat 20. Here we go. Uh, well, actually, because that would have been an 8 that I rolled plus the 4, so inversing it helped. I just have to figure out what the 8 becomes.
A 12? Does that
I
seem-
think so.
Is that correct?
That's what's on the opposite side, right?
Yeah, I think
8,
so.
and the opposite side's 12. Yeah. So 12 plus 4, so now that's a 16.
16's pretty good. Okay. Sorry, I was trying to. Yeah. Mercifully, you do notice a cart coming and manage to get out of the way before it knocks you over. So that's good. And as that occurs, the guy running by with it just kind of mumbles a quick sorry and just keeps going. Doesn't even like look at you. But looking around, you see people putting up sort of decorations and it looks as if the town is getting ready for a party of some sort, an event, a festival. We will slide away from that back to Brittany as you and says his name was Edgar, right?
Edgar, yes.
Okay, sorry, my brain. It is silly putty in a bowl. Yeah, you and Edgar have left the castle and are sort of watching the men go through the soldiers go through their drills and talk sort of strategy for the day and like what they're going to need to look out for, because you know how people are. People get a little rowdy with festivals and things, and it can be a stressful time even if it's a positive festival. So I just roll a straight intelligence check for me.
It's going to be another.
What's that?
You can inverse it.
I'm not going to inverse it. I never inverse things.
I never trusted either. I'm like, it seems like a trap. It seems like false hope.
Yeah,
Oof.
that's a 4.
You should have inversed it.
It's probably fine. What they're doing, their drills look fine. You don't have any particular note for them. Maybe it's been a while since you've been in any kind of strategic position with the military of Valen. It's fine. Edgar steps away to like go yell at someone, and you're sort of left to your own devices. If you want to stay here, you can. Otherwise, you can wander around the town and explore. It's up to you.
As far as it's important to note that she already has like her armor and all her other gear on and everything. She's just going to kind of watch the soldiers for a little bit and then say, "Well, I think everything here is in order. Just going to look around." And she's going to head out of the castle walls and just kind of take a walk around town and see how the celebration is holding up.
Awesome. Does she try to sneak away without being noticed, or does she like let Edgar know she's leaving?
Yeah, she lets Edgar know she's leaving.
Okay.
I'm leaving, if that's all right with you.
No, wait. I have not tested your metal in a long time. Come on. You can't leave without a spar.
Fine.
So this is obviously not a to the death or anything like that, but we're gonna do a quick little sort of theater of the mind combat just for funsies, a little sparring match. So I need you to roll an initiative for me.
Okay. Let's,
Give me just a
where is
moment. I
initiative? There it is.
always forget that I can't
It
like
says there's
multitask
currently
on
no
this game.
combat. I guess I can't do that yet.
just roll the d20 plus your dexterity modifier. You don't have any additional bonuses to it, do you?
I have a +1.
Okay, then yeah,
So,
just d20 plus 1.
I'll just roll a d20 plus 1. Hey, I rolled well.
18. That's great. Give me just a moment. Sorry. I forgot that I like can't multitask when I'm uh why is that not?
Streaming so that people can see
Yeah,
what's going on.
D&D's not playing nicely with me right now. I'm annoyed by that. D&D Beyond, that is. I am so sorry. Multitasking is a pain sometimes. That'll work. Should I roll publicly, you think, or should I use my dice?
Publicly, let people see what's going on.
Fine. But what about the mystery? Oh. Okay.
Oh, you rolled well.
So, he sort of leads you to like a sand pit area where they can do those sorts of fights and things without it being a problem. And he pulls out the double-sided axe, stomps his foot in the sand, and waits. He's going to take the dodge action and let you attack first.
All right. In that case, Brittany is going to... You know what? She is just going to kind of touch a hand to her chest and say, and just kind of say, "Please let my blade strike true, and let me be protected." As she is going to cast a spell.
Okay, great.
Oops.
What are you casting?
She's casting Bless on herself.
Excuse me. Awesome. Okay. Beautiful. And that's your action? It's been a minute.
That's my action.
Awesome. Okay. Do you do anything with your bonus action, or how far away do you want to be from him?
She's going to, I mean, I assume they probably start like about 30 feet apart, probably, or...
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
if
so
she's just...
So she's going to actually back up a little bit. She's going to stand until she's maybe about 45 feet away from him.
Okay.
So kind of do a little retreat maneuver.
Okay.
And that is going to be it for her turn.
All right, great. Give me just a moment. Okay, so he's gonna get into the... You know what? I think he's gonna go ahead and use his movement and action and just get right up on you. Oh, come on. You can't just rely on that trick again. And that is all he can do at the moment. He cannot attack after he's dashed, so...
Immediately just kind of dodging things. And then she, is it her turn again, or?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought
right.
I should have said that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotta shake the
All
cobwebs
right,
off, y'all. It's been a month.
So she is going to actually draw her sword and go in for a strike.
Great. Let me see that attack roll. Don't forget your D4.
Yep, and at that, I can add my 1d4 there. That's a 19 to hit.
Great. I believe that hits. Yes, it does. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Yep, let me roll the damage for that. Wait. How do I roll the damage for that?
If you look
I just
at the like
longsword again.
Well, if you look at the chat where your roll showed up, there's a button that says damage where your longsword
I did not
showed up.
Oh yeah, there it is.
So yeah, just hit. There you go.
Oh, that's
Are you
13
using
damage.
it? Are you using it one-handed or two-handed?
One-handed.
Okay.
So that's why it's a D8.
What's that +2? Where's that coming from?
That's from the dueling fighting style that she has.
Oh, gotcha. All right, great.
Yeah, she's
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, she's kind of holding her longsword in one hand and her shield in the other, and yeah. Uh, and then, you know what? I'm going to spice things up a bit. I'm going to put a smite on that.
Oh, great. What does the smite look like?
Yeah, so you see her longsword as it kind of comes in as she's going to kind of as she kind of spoke that prayer earlier. Her sword just kind of vibrates a little bit as it goes in for a strike, and she kind of slashes across his arm, and it will do some extra damage. Let me
Yeah, well,
see.
it's 2d8, I think.
First level. Yeah, that's a 2d8. That is wow. That's max damage.
Wow, you are just
Oh
you
my
are just
gosh.
going all in on this. uh yeah, so you he runs up on you and says that, and you say the things that you do. Pull your sword back and sort of slash up. You catch him in the side a little, and then you cut across his arm, like you say, and your blade seems to sing as it moves through the air, and the trail of the blood from the edge follows the blade as it comes up. And for a brief moment, there's a smell of burning hair from the hairs on his arm, and he winces in pain and just oh, oh, it's been a while indeed. Good lord. Okay. Oh, all right. Well, I think you've proven that your metal has not lost its edge. We will call it there. Roll an insight check for me.
That's another 16.
Um, you get the impression that leadership, to an extent, has made him a bit soft. That he hasn't done much actual, like, to the death fighting in a while. So the recent adventures that you've been through and that have helped you with your skills and put you where you currently are have not happened for him. You get the impression he maybe can't take many more hits than that, and he was not expecting that much at once. So yeah, you know that in his day, in his prime, he was a very formidable foe. But it seems as if the years of leadership have left him a bit less so in that regard.
Well, say that was a good match. I think you did rather well considering.
Yeah, no, it's I did great, and you did.
In
Oh,
the sense that you did not drop dead upon my one swing.
do you think it would have taken one swing? Oh, good. I've lost the respect of everyone, I think. Oh, I if you need me, I shall be in my room sobbing for my lost youth. And he just sort of like unceremoniously storms back into the castle.
You know where the handkerchiefs are?
Yeah, leave me to my wallowing. And just walks away from you. Leaves you to your meandering.
Yeah, so now she walks out, and as she does, she just says, oh, made me waste up my energy, that one did.
Ha, showing off sure does take a toll these days. Um Great. So yeah, wandering around the town, you see everyone sort of getting ready. People are prepping food and drinks, and people are putting up decorations and things. A lot of the theme of the Morning Veil Day is suns. Light is a big deal, and just sort of playing about with those themes. The color gold is very common. So you see a lot of things going up around that sort of central theme. And I will say, eventually, over the course of the next hour or so, just of your both of your various meanderings, you, through circumstance, through happenstance, um, actually, no, hold on, back up on that. I'm not going to handwave that. Uh, Ludwig, we return towards you. Uh, roll me, let's say a history check.
A history check.
Yep.
Fantastic.
You would have come through some of the Craiglands and stuff to get here, so a lot of this is familiar, and you would have had some experiences with it. Yeah, 13's enough.
It's a 13. Yeah.
Yeah, 13's not bad. So yeah, you would have a sense that while this town is of a fairly all right size, the center, the square of the town is probably going to be around a well or something similar. Um, a lot of the Craigsland towns are laid out similarly, with everything sort of centering on a well so that everyone has that access to clean water as quickly as possible. Or in the event that it's like a stream, they'll be centered around that instead. Um, but yeah, so if you wanted to ply your trade as a bard, or even just meet people or whatever, that would probably be your best bet, is to make your way to the well at the center of town.
He kind of chews thoughtfully on his croissant.
Roll a d20 for me on that, just for fun.
Do I have to choke?
No. No. That would be a save of some sort. I just
Surprise
want to see how
con
good.
save.
I just want to see how good the croissant is.
Not very.
Not very. You get the impression that it is a few days past its prime. It's not to the point that it's unsafe to eat, but it's crunchy. It is not flaky and buttery. So it is not a pleasant experience. Dunking it in the coffee helps a little.
We're gonna make it a little bit more pleasant here.
In what way?
We are casting a spell.
I see that, but what if that spell?
Prestidigitation.
Are you trying to warm it, or
I thought there was like, wasn't this the one that you could like change the flavor? Maybe I'm thinking of druid crafting.
you can flavor it? Sure. It's still
Yeah,
gonna be
we're gonna
crunchy.
flavor it.
It's still gonna be
It's still
stale.
gonna be it's gonna be a little. It's gonna be a little bit warmer, and it's gonna
It's
be
going to
flavored.
strawberry flavored. No, I'm kidding.
Not
Yes.
strawberry flavored.
Crunchy
But we're gonna-
strawberries. That's what everyone loves.
Everybody loves the crunchy strawberries. Gonna warm it up to try to make it a little bit softer, and we're gonna flavor it a little bit to have some kind of like a chocolate-ish. Maybe trying to put in like a chocolate crunchy thing, like a Twix bar or something to go along with the coffee.
All right, great. So yeah, you kind of like roll it in your left hand, and just sort of hum a little, and it's not a visual sensation or anything, but you feel a sort of power wash through it, and its texture changes slightly. And the next time you take a bite of it, its flavor is as you describe. Your croissant, your bad croissant, is made slightly less bad. On a
Yay
scale of
for
1 to
slightly
20,
less
it's
bad.
it's a 9 on
A
a scale of
5.
1
Oh.
to 20.
I'll take a 9. It's better than a 4.
Um. All right, so yeah, you roll me either perception or survival. Your choice.
Let's see. Either perception or survival.
Or if you want to make the case for a different one, you're trying to find the center of town, trying to find the well at the center in the square of town. So, if there's a different skill that you think would apply better, convince me.
All right. He's trying to find the square at the center of town. I think he's going to try to just kind of like watch where people are wandering and see if he can investigate like where people tend to be heading, see if he can figure out patterns, just like what direction most people are headed. Because like if it's
Sure.
morning, people are probably going to the well in order to get there. Like it's probably where the market is. It's probably where everybody's headed. And
Sure.
he wants to go where the people are. So
Yeah, I'll buy it. Go ahead, roll investigation.
11.
Made a huge difference. Yeah, I mean, there was no real chance of failure. It was more just a question of how long it would take you to get there. So, yeah, I mean, people are moving in every direction, so it's not an instant, like, oh, everyone's going this way. But in time, you do recognize the patterns, and you manage to find your way to the well, um, without too much difficulty. Um, and you can, if you want to do bardly things, you can. If you want to try to interact with people, you can. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do from here.
Bard's got a bard. He's going to head up to the well. What does the well kind of look like? Is there a place that he could kind of step up and make it like a makeshift stage in any way, shape, or form?
It's a it's well, it's a stone circle built into like a low wall. It has the you know the bucket that goes down and a little overhang to protect it from some of the from some things and um
He will
I'll
climb up onto that overhang. Well,
sure.
well, well, it's a well. And he'll just kind of like sit on the top, just kind of like lackadaisically, like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
hanging out, I'm lounging on the top of this well.
All right, great. And then are you singing? Are you telling a story? Are you
Oh yeah, he's gonna tell a
dancing
story.
somehow? Okay, great.
He's
Do you
not
have
gonna dance. He's not a dancer.
do
Not much of a
you
singer.
do you have one in mind to tell, or
I
would you rather
do.
sort of hand wave it with dice?
I have one to tell that will hopefully like give me any sort of advantage or bonus or something to the dice
We
here.
will see. In as much as you want to, perform it for me. How is Ludwig telling this story?
So from where his vantage point, he's just kind of smiling, pointing out people, and just doing the whole almost carnival ringmaster type of thing. Like, ah, friends, friends, please gather close. Let me take you on a journey through the mists of time. I will take you to a kingdom long forgotten and tell you of a destiny intertwined with my own. Once, in the heart of the realm, stood a magnificent kingdom known as Eldoria. Its spires were kissed by the sun, and its gardens bloomed with eternal spring. Eldoria was a land of unparalleled beauty and wisdom, its wealth renowned throughout the realms. Now, you may wonder how such a humble bard like myself became such connected to such grandeur. Well, allow me to reveal to you the secret. You see, I, Ludwig Ingerum, the magnificent bard and exalted entertainer, am also the last of Eldoria's royal bloodline, the sole heir to the kingdom that vanished into the annals of history. It was a time of turmoil and treachery when darkness threatened to engulf Endoria. As the kingdom's final hope, I embarked on a daring quest to safeguard the most precious treasures of the kingdom hidden away from the prying eyes of villains and marauders. I have to scroll down. Hold on. In the ancient heart of the in the heart of those ancient forests, I discovered a hidden glade, illuminated by the gentle glow of a mystical fountain, one not unlike the well that we're sitting on here. It was there that I encountered a powerful guardian spirit, an ethereal being who bestowed upon me the knowledge of my true lineage and the responsibility to protect Eldoria's legacy. With a heavy heart, I left the kingdom's riches behind, knowing that they would remain safe within the embrace of the enchanted glade. And thus, I became the guardian of Eldoria's secrets, the last living connection to a lost kingdom of unparalleled grandeur. But, my friends, it is not just through tales of valor and honor that I bear the legacy of Eldoria. No, it is in every syllable I speak, in every story that I tell. The kingdom may be gone, but its spirit lives on in me, Ludwig Ingerum, the last of Eldoria's noble line. And with that, he kind of gives a bow and just tries to look very humble and like he's very trying to like no pictures, please, please. It's no time. I can't.
There's a guy over there with his 3 hour long painting. Oh man, and just like storms off with
It's
it.
like, no, no pictures, no portraits, please, no autographs.
Roll me a performance check, and you have advantage. Um, let's just to see. 21's pretty
21.
good. 21's quite good for level 3, especially. Um, all right, great. Roll me. Let's say roll me a d20 plus 5 twice.
I don't remember. Can I do R's in here? I don't know if I can.
It's
I can do like
slash R rather
slash
than.
R. Well, I
Yep.
can do like if I do. Well, if I do advantage, my brain's not working. I can do 2d20 plus 10. That's the same thing, right? Or
No.
do you want
You're not.
advantage?
You're not rolling something at advantage. You're rolling two separate things that just have the same number. It's
Make me
for
roll extra.
determining coin again, basically. Um, you can do
Making
yeah.
things
There you go.
hard.
I I asked you to roll dice in a game about rolling dice.
How
How
dare?
uncouth of me.
How
Um,
dare?
no, that's great though. Yeah, you manage to over the course of your story, which takes longer than we see here. There was more to it in universe, I think. Um, you you make a total of 7 gold and 17 silver over the course of this performance. Does he have like any illusory magic, or is it all like minor pyrotechnics via prestidigitation?
Well, he would have definitely been able to use prestidigitation to kind of like create small little illusions as he's going along.
Yeah.
I gotta remember my character here. That's the fun bit. I know, right? Like first time playing, been a while. That would be the primary thing, and then he would just kind of like wink at people that just kind of like show that little bit of camaraderie, that little bit of flirtatious expectation, like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" And just try to make himself amiable with people.
Great. All right. So yeah, over the course of your performance, you make 7 gold and 17 silver. Um, give me just a moment. I'm fixing something I didn't realize was not the way it should be. Okay. Um, great. And then hold on. Around halfway through that story, Brittany, you managed to sort of find your way to this well just through your idle wandering through the town, a town that you are familiar with. You grew up here. So you don't necessarily need to find your way. It's more just you're not aiming for anything right now. You find your way to this square, and around halfway through the story, and you manage to hear about half of it. Words are hard, and I find myself repeating myself way too often. Um, in any case, yeah, you arrive halfway through the story. Are you still with us, Brittany? Manova?
Yeah, so during this, Brittany just kind of is standing around and occasionally with an eyebrow raised, just kind of her hands folded, looking kind of skeptical at the whole thing. And when Ludwig finally finishes his story and uh, and everybody's like giving donations and everything, and he remarks on the no pictures thing and everything, Brittany eventually walks up to him and says, "Now I got a question for you.
I am
If
happy, of course, to answer any question from someone as fair as yourself.
if that story really is true and you really are the last of this noble line, how come you do not want any pictures?"
Well, then there would actually be like a picture of me right now would tie me to this noble line, which I'm happy to explain. But the fact of like knowing who I am and having actual records of me could be problematic because then people will come looking for handouts. I don't have handouts. I left them all back with the kingdom. I am here to guard. I am here to be the guardian. I am here to help ensure the legacy of Eldoria.
any handouts, then simply do not give out any handouts. Keep your wealth close, and do not give in to beggars. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's as simple as
I
that.
see that you are. I see that you are well practiced in those types of things.
Well, of course. Don't you know who I am, after all?
No, please enlighten me.
My name is
Uh,
Brittany
Hold on
Bell.
just a moment.
I am.
Just for
Oh.
fun, Ludwig, roll me a history check.
All the fun. It's like, do I actually know? Let's
Yeah,
find out.
exactly. I
Yeah.
wanna I wanna know if you know. I can't wait to find out too.
Oh, I actually know.
Oh, and by the way, one thing I will point out is Brittany actually does have the family crest, the Vale family crest, actually displayed on her shield. So it's a dead giveaway.
It's actually quite probable that you saw her in Craigsport or something some time ago. Um you probably you might not have interacted. You most likely wouldn't have interacted, but you were traveling, she was traveling prior to this, and everything sort of comes from the same spot to the peninsula by nature of it being a peninsula. So, yes, you do know who this is, or you can guess with a fair amount of certainty. And like she said, she does have the family crest displayed. Um, Whether or not you tell her you know who she is, up to you.
Well, I
But
told her that I did not know who she is. Obviously, I would love for her to enlighten me.
The name is Brittany Bell. A pleasure to meet you, and you are?
Ah, he does kind of like one of those bardic bows, or like the little flippant hand type of thing, and the half bow, and takes her hand. Uh, I am Ludwig Ingelgrim. Ingelgrim. I got to remember how to actually say my name. Ludwig Ingelgrim. It's wonderful to meet you. Miss Vale, you say?
Correct.
My apologies for not recognizing you further earlier. Should I be aware of your family?
Well, it is the ruling family of Velen, after all.
Oh, is
I take it you
it?
are new here.
I have just been traveling. I'm not entirely sure how much you heard about my story, but I have recently found out that I am also of noble lineage, and I have had to come just kind of make sure that people are aware while not being too aware of the fact that I do have that legacy I need to uphold. I have a story I need to tell, and I have more stories I need to find.
You are one confusing individual, I will give you that. You don't want any pictures, and yet you want people to know of your noble lineage.
I want people to know of my kingdom, not necessarily of my connection to it, although my connection to it is an important part of it, but it's not something I necessarily want to have written down in history books.
All right. I
no,
suppose that
I
does make
I
a
get
little bit of
it.
sense.
I get it. It's about the mystery. There's there's a there's a random guy just sort of off to the side. His clothes are sort of tattered and messy. Looks like he might not have changed clothes in a few days. And he was there the entire time you're telling your story, just absolutely enraptured, just sort of like whittling a piece of wood. It's an air of mystery. He wants there to be a sort of surprise to it, and if his picture goes around, then everyone will know who he is before the story starts, and it'll change the impact of the story, right? I get it.
That's a
I get
fantastic.
it.
You get it fantastically. That's absolutely correct. I don't want my face to precede me. I want to make sure that I'm able to mingle with people without them knowing about my lineage. I did not even know about my lineage until recently. I would not want the way people treat me to change based off of what they know about me.
Yet, as I just demonstrated, oftentimes if you wander apart, even if you have a picture, even if you have a name and you have a known face, sometimes you'll encounter people who won't have any idea who you are.
Well, that is true. I would rather not take the. I totally just lost my train of thought there. Um, you hand me a plate, and suddenly it's like, ooh, food, and I can't think of anything else. Um, I'd rather not take the risk of possibly having somebody know me, but
You'd
not
rather not make
mention that
any
they.
enemies.
Indeed. Enemies are not a good thing to have. Do you have enemies?
Well, naturally, I have many enemies. Those
See,
who are
that is what I'm
jealous of.
hoping to avoid.
Give it a
But
minute.
I pay them no mind. I'm used to having enemies. I keep them at arm's reach, and that is good enough.
That is fantastic. So tell me, Brittany Vale, you say?
Correct?
And you had mentioned that your family is the ruling family of this, like the kingdom, the peninsula. What sort of
This
ruling
kingdom,
do you?
correct?
The kingdom, fantastic.
You see, Valen encompasses the entire peninsula, you might say, although the town we are in is, you might say, the central town of this entire peninsula, the center of the kingdom.
The capital.
Is where you are at now.
It's the capital, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah, I know things. I'm just gonna go over here. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting. Have a good day.
So what
And
brings
sort of
you
shuffles
here
off.
to? So what brings you here to Valen? Are you kind of? Are you just here to tell stories, or is there some other purpose?
Well, right now, I am traveling, and this happened to be on my way of travels. I'm not entirely sure where the wind is going to take me next. I know that I need to learn more about Eldoria. I need to spread the word that I do know about Eldoria, see what else I can learn about my own lineage while keeping it secret so that people don't try to like hunt me down or try to find the grandeur of my kingdom before I am able to go back and protect it. You would understand that, right?
Do you even know where to look? Do you even know where your kingdom is?
I have absolutely no idea. That's why I'm traveling.
Well, good luck finding it, I suppose.
You
And
wouldn't happen to have access to any sort of, library or possibly, I don't know, more exclusive places where I could find information that might not be so public.
There is a library in town if you wish to peruse it.
I was hoping if you were part of the ruling class that you might have something a little bit more secluded.
Well, we do, but it is not exactly accessible to most people. It is guarded for a reason.
As I've told you before, I am not most people. I am a noble lineage. I am of noble lineage, the last heir of Eldoria. Eldoria. I have to write down my own paper. Like, what did I call it?
yeah, you gotta
could
remember
be.
your own hype. Come on.
I know, right?
You could be, or everything you could have told me up to this point was just one of your stories, and that name Ludwig Ingram was just a character.
Here's
He
here's what we can do
gasps.
here. Here's what we can do here. Brittany, roll me an insight check. Ludwig, roll
Okay.
either persuasion or deception. Don't tell us which. In order for it to not be clear, roll it manually rather than clicking on the skill.
All right.
If your insight is higher, you'll have a sense whether or not he's lying, but if it's lower, you believe him.
Okay, so that's a 14 for me.
It'll take a second because she can't just
Yeah,
click
it'll
on the
take me a
button.
minute. I have to like type things out. It's
must-
a
And look up your
thing.
modifier and everything.
She's gonna have to remember like a whole number, and that's a lot. It's a lot of pressure.
Well, there's more to it than this. So hold up. And I'll explain to Ava if you ask. So hold up.
Well, I haven't looked closely at your character sheet. I'm assuming you have slash R there, hun.
It's like it's one of those. Unresolved for evaluation. What's going on? Doesn't like it.
Advantage might not be a thing. Add keep highest one. Yeah. Well, I guess you would just roll it twice. That also works. But 19 is also enough. So,
Can you tell I'm used to rolling on the server?
it's been a while.
Yeah, 19's enough. There we go.
Yeah, okay. You, as far as you can tell, he is being truthful. You do believe what he's saying. Whether or not you let that sway your opinion or your action is up to you, of course, but you don't think he's lying about his heritage.
Being that as it may, rules are still rules, and I cannot simply let somebody I just met into such a library.
Oh, no, no, no. I understand that completely. Allow me to take you to dinner so you can get to know me a bit better.
Bold one, I presume. Well, I don't suppose I can say no to that. I have nothing to do for the rest of the day regardless. Perhaps even
Fantastic.
regale me with a few more of your stories along the way.
I would absolutely be enchanted, dear. Where would you say the best place for such a dinner would be in town? I'm new here. You would probably have a better idea of the best places to check out.
There actually is a place. It's one of the inns in town, in fact. A place.
The Heart Rock Inn.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyway, it is called the Hot Rock Inn, and they have it has its own charm to it. It is not exactly the most popular place, but in my opinion, it does have the best food, and it also has the best ambiance. It's a little bit of a darker ambiance to it. It's especially popular at night.
Well, then, I'm excited to see this Heart Rock Inn. Um,
I will
when we
say,
see the end of Nightfall, or when we see Nightfall, there we go, that word.
I will say, it's a little bit shorter, but also sort of the first session of the new season, so it can be a little wonky like that. We're gonna go ahead and call it there. We'll pick up next time with the Heart Rock Inn. Um, so what we will do is we'll go on break here in a moment. 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
What do you need, man?
I mean, 15 minutes sounds about right, just to get on the proper schedule and all,
Great.
just so I can.
Yeah.
Just so I can, yeah.
Okay. Great. So what we'll do is we'll go on break here in just a moment, and we'll be on break for 15 minutes, and then when we come back, we will be in a different place, in a different time, with different people. Mostly, I'm kidding. It's different people. Um, yeah. So we will. Do we want to come back at 27, or do we want to stretch it just
Let's
a
go
little
back
bit
to
and come back?
27. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So give me just a moment here. All right, and we are live again. Take it away, Min.
Hello, I am Minerva, and welcome to For Hire. This will be a new season of it, so we're starting with a new game, and all is going to go well, hopefully. I'm Minerva. I'm going to be your dungeon master for this part of the season. And in fact, I'm going to be your dungeon master for the next 2 months, so September and October, which is when the period when this For Hire will be taking place. And with that, let's introduce our 2 players who will be participating in this game. Starting with Tiff. Who are you, and who will you be playing in this For Hire?
Starting with me, that's always hard. I always feel put on the spot when it starts with me.
Maybe I should
All
have
right.
started an alphabetical order.
We started with you. We started with you in my game too. It's because you're.
I know, and I was totally off guard there too. I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Through
So-
pure accident, you're first on the. You're like top on the interface for both games.
There we go then. So, hi everybody. I am Tiff. For this game, I will be playing the Air Genasi Arcane Trickster Rogue, Iona.
All right, and Avalon.
Hello. Yes. I'm Avalon, and I'm playing Miranda, the human battlemaster fighter, who refuses to carry a weapon.
Yes. So, this game will, For Hire, will be set in the city of Fathe. Now, Fathe, just for some background, is on the continent of Iodrarune in Iodrarune, if you know where that is. I know a lot of the viewers probably don't, but it's a continent that is famously full of dragon lore. And this particular town doesn't have as much dragon lore as the surrounding as the surrounding places, but instead it's located up in the mountains. And its most defining feature, besides said mountains, are these mists that surround it. Now, these mists are no ordinary mists. They've been rumored throughout the years to contain Fae crossings within them, out of which these animalistic people called yokai often come from. And these can be representations of any animal. They can be based off of fish, they can be based off of mammals, they can be based off of birds, or pretty much anything. And there's sort of a chicken and the egg situation where it's unsure of whether the town of Fathe was founded because of legends of these creatures coming from the mists, or whether the creatures coming from the mists came after the town of Fathe was already established long ago, before, like, just after the Planar Crash. But one thing that is for sure is the city was not established until after the Planar Crash. So just for a little bit of background there. Most of what you need to know about Fathe is that it's just this town up in the mountains, often surrounded by mist. And at this particular time, it is the end of summer, and there is a festival going on that celebrates the end of summer. I did not get this festival of name, I just call it the End of Summer Festival. But it's celebrated often in the town central square and also in many parts throughout the city. It is marked by a lot of vendors and that could be selling stuff. There's a bunch of different events going on. There's even a parade that goes on later on. That's kind of what you two would have heard about as you kind of wander along the road into this town. In fact, that's a good question. What exactly are you two doing when you are wandering through here? First of all, why are you here in Fathe? And have you heard about the festival, or are you just kind of traveling through or whatever? And about whereabouts would you be heading once you get into town?
Well,
And let's start with Miranda. What are you doing?
well, Iona and I would probably be traveling together because
Okay.
we originally met back in Packwitch on a totally different continent, but we are of a similar cloth, I think. Miranda being from Arian and Iona being a little chaos thief gremlin person. Well, I guess it begs the question, is this festival, is it something that is, known beyond the bounds of the city? Is it something that's like, Ooh, you have to go to Fathe for this festival. It's so cool.
It actually is known beyond the bounds of the city. It's like the nearby city of Beam, for instance. The people there often talk about this festival, and I would say Beam is one of the closest towns to Fathe that often talks about the festivals here. And the End of Summer Festival is definitely one of the ones that's recommended as this spectacle of a thing that just goes on. And also Maisandra is another city nearby that you might have traveled from the northeast, where you might have heard about this festival. So whichever direction you were coming from, you were probably traveled to one of those two cities on the way here. And so as you two just kind of get into town, traveling together, you immediately come across these roads that lead off to the town central square. These are paths that are lined with many street vendors. As you walk along, you can smell this kind of a warm, kind of a savory scent as you pass by this food stall where somebody is shouting takoyaki, takoyaki, as they present these little balls with sauce on them that are served to people. As you pass by, there's also this Thryke Queen woman, this bug person who is selling decorated flags that are said to bring good luck and good fortune. You also pass by this kind of peacock-themed Aarakocra man who is selling pottery, and there's also this bombastic human man who you kind of pass by on the way there, who was selling this particularly valuable golden carp and is just raving about it. So as you kind of wander through, that's kind of what you see around the town central square, and there are a lot of like red banners and decorations. There are various street performers that kind of pass through. There's even like one of them is this group of fairies that are dressed like red dragonflies that are doing this aerial dance with red banners to mark the end of summer. But there are a bunch of facilities that are off of the town central square as well, which you can see all around on the map. There's an inn, there's a tea house, there's this mysterious place called Momo's, there's a shrine, there's a resort, there's the Imperial Fortress, as well as a monastery, and a couple other places as well.
Awesome.
So I guess now the question is, as you wander into the city, is there anything that interests you, anything that you would like to do?
I feel like the first thing that Ayana would do is try to find something that looks very expensive and swipe it.
Yeah, so
I was
as
going
far as
to
expensive-
say we should take
Yeah,
a
go
closer
ahead.
look at this golden carp. I'm
That's
I'm
expensive.
intrigued at the
probably.
golden carp, and it seems as if it's special, if not expensive, and special
Yeah.
things can still be of value.
I mean, and was it harp or carp like fish?
Carp, like the fish.
Like the fish. Okay, so just like this. Okay, so just this golden fish, a goldfish. Fantastic. All right. Yeah. So like, I'm not really big on fish. They kind of stink. But I guess if we just got it like long enough to kind of like give it to people who do like fish, then that would make some sense. How much do you think it's worth?
Well, is it a real fish or is it a trinket of some sort? Does it? What?
I hope it's a trinket because I really don't want to be touching real fish. That'd be gross.
No, I
Pass by
wouldn't.
it, you
I
can
wouldn't want to
actually-
either.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
As you pass by it, you can actually see that there is like this there's like this tank that this guy has set up, and there is water inside that tank, so you can kind of presume that there is an actual fish swimming around in it. You can occasionally see ripples that kind of come out of it, and you can also kind of hear the man's voice saying something like, "Step right up and witness the beauty of this magnificent golden carp. This carp is a gold mine. This carp can be bred for and bring you good fortune. It costs only 25 gold."
I'm sorry. Bread, by itself.
Well, yes, it can be bred with any ordinary fish, and it will produce even more golden carp.
Right. So, How is it a gold mine? What is of particular value about it? I'm curious. I'm sorry, I'm
Oh, the
from out
golden
of town.
carp? Ah, a newcomer. I see, I see. Well, this golden carp, as you can see, it has a lovely golden hue. And as you kind of look down into the tank, you can see this carp just kind of swimming around in it, and it looks like it has scales that are made of pure gold. And he says, "This carp is magical. It comes from the Feywilds, and as you can see, it has scales that are made of pure gold. And occasionally, the fish sheds these scales, and you can sell them, and they can make a fortune. That's how I've come across my own. That's how I came across my own fortune, just hanging on to this one carp, and now I am offering it to you."
So, like, why? If it's like free money, why are you just offering us free money?
That's my question. Why are you selling it? Can I insight check the fellow if he truly believes this and if he's
Sure.
telling
Let
the
me
truth?
Sure, let me just set a DC here. The DC is 9.
I don't want to get cocky, but hey, 19.
Yeah, with that 19, you can tell that this guy is he's definitely up to something with what he's selling. That maybe he might be overinflating the price of this carp a little bit. Like, is it really worth 25 gold? That seems a lot for just a fish.
Could I? Do you have any of its shed scales? It's quite the investment, and I'd like to see some proof before I commit.
Ah, yes, of course.
I think Ayana would also know that Miranda is playing distraction right now. So if she wants to be inquisitive in her own way, that opening is present.
She is going to be inquisitive in her own way, but with the focus mostly on the fish. She's going to be looking around for anything not the fish that seems like it might be of value that she could pocket easily.
You know what? Make an investigation check.
Ooh,
I believe in you.
Good at those? Let's find out. Theoretically, I'm good at these. We'll find out what the dice say.
Yeah, I was going to say the dice don't agree with that often.
They really don't. That's
Yeah,
a 10.
so a 10.
I was going to say that's okay, and then I realized you had a +6, and I was like, that's pretty bad, actually.
That's about right, yeah. Like, I'm supposed to be good at this. Well, okay.
So, Ayana, as you are looking around for anything that isn't a fish, you can see a couple of boxes behind this man, which are just kind of sitting on a bench. A couple of little crates that are just kind of standing behind him. You don't really see a whole lot else. No really identifying marks on the crates or anything, but they're just kind of sitting there.
Are there any are there any cracks in the crates, like an inch wide, maybe?
There is one crate that actually does look to be kind of partially open. That it looks to be maybe slightly open. That it doesn't appear to be locked or anything. The other crate does look like it has a lock on it.
The locked one is definitely interesting. The other one is slightly open.
The other one is slightly open.
And the locked one is like completely sturdy all the way around, no little cracks or anything in it.
That one is closed. It is shut tight, and you can actually see a lock on the front of it.
I mean, closed doesn't mean that there isn't like little cracks in the bottom or whatever. I'm just kind of like trying.
There are no cracks that you can see.
All right, so it's very sturdy. It's very okay.
Yeah.
Good. That's fine. She will just kind of like peer briefly into the open case first, kind of see what's going on with that.
Yeah, so you peer into that case, and you can actually see that there are a couple of bags in there, as like a couple of little drawstring bags sitting atop this one little kind of leather satchel that is inside that crate.
Yoink.
All right, so let me just flip a coin here to see which bag you yoinked. Okay, so you kind of yoink this bag out of there, and you can actually see that you hear some jingling sounds as you swiped that bag. You could tell that there are coins of some sort inside of it.
Very nice. She'll just kind of like stick it into her pocket. As she glances once again furtively towards the.
But as you are going into that, crate, actually, I should have mentioned this before. Go ahead and make a stealth check.
Stealth check. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Supposed to be good at that too.
Would she have advantage since I am distracting the shopkeeper?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
The fisherman. Hey, that's really good.
Easy enough to do.
Yeah.
You were able to swipe the bag without anybody noticing.
Yoink.
Yeah, and then there's the other crate that is locked, and actually, right after you yoink the bag, as Miranda kind of brings up the scales and everything, and if he has proof of them, the man actually will go and turn around and go in and go toward where the boxes are, and he'll take out a key and actually unlock that other box.
Oh, that's nice of him.
And you see, as you kind of unlocks this box, he pulls out another bag and then shuts the box and locks it back up again. And then he turns around and opens the bag, fiddles around inside of it, and takes out a golden scale that looks like it came off of the carp. And he kind of holds it out in his hand and says, "Yes, this is one example of the golden scale that you will find." And he drops the scale back into the bag.
When he held it up, could I get enough of a look at it to assess if it's actually like if it appears to be metallic gold? Does it seem to be as useful as he's portraying it?
Make a perception check.
Sure. Coming from Arian and being rich in Arian, I imagine this is something that is familiar to her. The dice agree?
Oh, yeah. Nat 20, nice. Yeah, so as you are looking at the scale, you're pretty familiar with the scales. Perhaps you've done a little bit of fishing in Orion yourself, but the surface of this scale doesn't exactly look like a fish scale. A fish scale would normally have like this kind of organic sheen to it, but this fish scale doesn't really have that. Instead, it looks a little bit dull. It's shiny, but it doesn't really look like it belongs on a fish.
Does it look more like it was crafted?
Yeah, it kind of looks like it might have been crafted or something.
Curious. Well, I tell you what, I shall think on this. Mustn't be too hasty with an investment such as this, yes.
Oh, of course. Take your time.
How long does this fish live? Is this the only one that you've encountered?
No, I have several more, in fact. Several more back at my home. I have probably about 12 of them currently.
Really? Interesting.
Yes, really. This is only one of them that I have for sale. I only have this one today, but I will have another tomorrow.
No, of course. I understand completely.
While Miranda is chatting up the fish broker, was the chest locked again?
The chest is locked again.
Ayana is going to be kind of like shuffling on over there. Just kind of like keeping her eye on Miranda while she pulls out some lock-picking tools and sees if she can get to work on that lock.
Hey, so roll me two things. Roll another stealth check, first of all, and then make a thieves' tools check if you succeed.
If I succeed, always fun.
If you succeed.
We know how that works. Do I still get my advantage?
You still get your advantage.
15.
15, that's pretty decent, so now go ahead and make that thieves' tools check.
Would that be dex?
That would be dex-based. It's a dexterity, and if you're proficient with thieves' tools, you get to add your proficiency bonus.
Beautiful.
And this one you do not get advantage on, it's just picking a lock.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know if you can roll that directly in Foundry. I hadn't really experimented.
Thieves' tools. I can click it and see what happens.
Yeah. If you can't, just pick one of your dex skills that you're proficient in, and it's the same thing.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
clicking
you can
on
do that,
thieves'
or-
tools. like I've got thieves tools as a tool proficiency. I'm clicking on that and it's letting me choose which ability to pull from, and it wanted me to do intelligence, but I'm going to do dexterity because you said dexterity, so we'll go with
it's
that.
dexterity.
All right. 17.
I never heard of thieves' tools being intelligence, but that's kind of an interesting take on it. Anyway,
I know that there's like this. I've heard of it being intelligence because it's kind of the idea that you need to be smart enough to know how to unlock it. But I also have like the sleight of hand idea behind it in regards to, hey,
yeah, I guess if it's a complex enough lock, then I can see it being intelligence based. But yeah, with that 17, you kind of fiddle around with it, and click, the lock clicks open.
Open it, peer inside, see if anything is worthwhile to snag.
Yeah, so in this box, you can actually see that there is a book inside of it, like a little journal, and resting on top of that is another drawstring bag, and you can see, yeah, it's a drawstring bag on top of a journal.
Taking them both.
All right, and and you do that. Are you leaving the box unlocked, or
I'll lock
are you
it back
locking
up.
It
Yeah, I'm gonna lock it back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Gotta
there's no
cover
reason
myself.
for. He might get burgled. Someone might get into that empty box and take the nothing inside of it.
It's so difficult, man.
All right, so, sir, would you perhaps go as low as 15 gold? Unfortunately, it has been a long travel, and I'm not as comfortable in the coin purse as I used to be.
Make a persuasion check.
Of course, I would delight in such things.
And Diana's gonna like make sure that she's happily away from the boxes.
Wait, that's a 3. Does a 3 do it? Is the DC 3?
Well, unfortunately, that's not going to be enough. I take much pride in this golden fish, and I'm sorry, I can't go lower than 25.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Hey, Miranda. So, like, I'm starving, and if I hang out here much longer, I might want to eat that fish. So, think we can get going?
Yes, of course. Good day, sir. Good luck on your trade. I'm sure someone will be by in short order for it.
Yeah,
Have a good
totally.
day.
And like, is there a place around here that has like really good food?
Well, yes, there actually are a couple of places. If you are more food inclined, there's the Smiling Lion Inn that is over right near the town central square. If you are up to something a little bit fancier, there is the Silver Dragon Resort over on the eastern side of town. And if you are more for a light snack or a drink, then there's the Jade Leaf Tea House that is near the inn.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
I think the Smiling Lion sounds great. I'm
Fantastic.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Yeah, let's go there.
So where are you wanting to head next?
I think we'll be going to the Smiling Lion. It seems as if that's the best place for a meal.
Excellent. Well, you two have a good day then.
Of course, you as well. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. So you walk away and eventually make your way across the town central square, passing by that potter, passing by that woman with the flags, and eventually you come across this inn that on the outside, this inn you can actually see it's decorated with a lot of red banners and more of these little prayer flags that are just kind of hanging around on the outside of it. And you can actually see 2 statues of lions that are flanking the entrance to this inn. These kind of stone statues that are painted in kind of red and gold.
Are they smiling?
They are smiling.
That's important.
Wow,
I would not want to have to call false advertising there. Like, these lions aren't smiling.
Yep.
Yeah,
their mouths are open. You can see their teeth bared, and they have a little tongue. The edges of the mouths are just kind of upturned and a little grin. And anyway, as you enter this inn, you can see that this inn is fairly packed with people. It's not very loud in here, though, because the walls are actually made of bamboo, so they kind of absorb some of the sound a little bit. But the inn is fairly packed with people just kind of stopping by from the festival, and at the bar you can actually see this dragonborn woman with copper scales who is just kind of busying herself talking to one of the people at the counter, and while she has a drink in her hand, and at one point she hands a key over to that person. And that person just kind of walks away and up a set of stairs that is off to the side. And also, near the entrance, there's a little board that has a kind of like a bulletin board that has a couple of notes stuck into it as well.
Like bounty types of things, or like?
Well, if you want to go check it out, you can. Otherwise, there are a couple of empty tables that you can potentially sit at, as well as an empty spot at the bar if you wanted to talk to the dragonborn woman.
Do you want to find us a table, and I can look at these if you want to get us a table.
I mean, if you want to totally like find anything good and like bring it to the table, I'll go get us some drinks, and then we'll go to the table. We'll meet up at the table. It'll be great. It'll be fantastic.
Yes, most definitely. All right. I'll look over the bulletins posted, and if they seem dull, I'll go to the dragonborn woman and be like, "Hey, what up?"
All right. So let me drag you over to the bounty board.
New map.
Yep, new map.
Okay, so there's a bit of an issue with this. We cannot see anything, or I can't with the stream viewer anyway.
You can't? That's weird.
This is really quick and easy to fix.
Yep.
Right-click on it in the navigation tab at the top of the screen.
Yeah, I'm on configure.
Okay. Under, I think it says vision or something to that effect.
Under lighting.
Yes.
Yep.
Turn off token vision. So just uncheck the box that says token vision.
Okay, there we go.
And then hit save changes or whatever the button says.
Okay.
You might need to turn on global illumination and put it down to 0.
All right. Save changes. Now
There we go.
Yep. There we go.
Yeah, so you can actually see so Miranda, once you actually get up to this bounty board, you can see a couple of this bulletin board. You can actually see a couple of postings on this board. There are actually 2 of them that are both of different things that are going on. So the left one says, "Murders have been happening at the Silver Dragon Resort. Seeking investigators to find the elusive culprit. Inquire with Ling Ho at the resort's lounge." And the one on the right, "Part of the surrounding mists are black and people have gone missing when exploring that area. Looking for brave people to investigate. Talk to Mika Usami at the Tsukiya Shrine."
Okay, so I will grab both and bring them back, and we'll put one back when we've decided which one we're doing.
No.
Well.
All right.
Look at these.
So.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so while that's going on, we'll go over to Ayana, who I believe is heading up to the counter to go get drinks.
Yep, heading up to the Dragonborn. She just kind of like sidles up, leans onto the counter, and just kind of like waves like, "Hi, how you doing? What's good to drink here? What's your special?"
Yeah, so the Dragonborn looks over, kind of after this other person walks away with the key. She looks over at Ayana and says,
Hello. It's good to see visitor here. It's very nice to meet you. I do recommend we have this ale on tap right now that is actually quite delicious. I very much recommend you try it.
Oh, that sounds like pretty awesome. So yeah, can I get 2?
Of course. I will get that for you in just a little bit. It's a very light ale, and you'll find it has kind of a spicy flavor to it. It is really quite nice. Anyway, so you say you are new in town. What brings you here? Is it the festival that you are interested in?
Oh yeah, it's totally the festival. We had heard that the festival was like the coolest thing, and we just had to come check it out ourselves because like if you can't really just like rely on what people say. You have to have experiences with these things too, right? So like that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope you enjoy yourself, and let me just get that for you in just a bit.
and she heads over back to the bar, heads over to a keg, takes out a couple of mugs, pours a couple of ales, and kind of sets it down and she just says,
And that'll be 3 copper for each of them.
Thank you so much. And then she will take a silver piece and she'll just put it down and like keep the change.
Oh, well, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Do enjoy yourselves.
Of course, of course. Oh, do you have like a room available here too? Just curious.
Yes, we do, actually. We have rooms available for 1 gold a night.
Fantastic. And she'll put down a gold. Like, if I could have a room key, that would be fantastic too.
Yes, yes, just 1 moment. You will be in room number 7, and here is your key. And you'll find the rooms just upstairs, up those set of stairs on the side there, and just go down the hall, and it is on the right side.
Thanks so much. You are so helpful. I hope that you have like a fantastic day.
Enjoy the festival.
You too? Do you get like a lot of business around here from the festival?
Oh yes, we are very busy around this time. In fact, I see somebody who is about to who is hailing me over. But thank you for speaking with me, and I hopefully we'll talk to you later.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So like, go make your money. Go do it. It's cool.
Yep, and she kind of heads over to that other person who was waving her down. And with that, I imagine you are reconvening at the table and just kind of discussing what you found.
Yes.
Yep. Reconvening at the table, she'll like kind of flip the key once in her hand and then put it on the table. Yeah, I got a room for tonight, so we can like go talk more privately. Do you want to bring everything with you so we can just go talk up there instead?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Well, before we go up there, I just want to so that I can put one of them back, of course.
No, just bring them both.
All right, sure. Okay, great. So yeah, we'll truck everything upstairs and have food and drink in the room and talk about these things there.
Room service. All right. Yeah. So you two head up to the room, and also along with those ales, you also get you also get these dumplings that the Dragonborn woman kind of recommended as well. These kind of like steamed buns sort of thing, and you head up to the room, and eventually it's not too crowded up on this floor, at least. Not a lot of people are in their rooms at the moment. They're mostly out and around town, so it's very quiet once you actually get into the room itself. And the room you're in actually overlooks overlooks the river that kind of flows all the way around all around the city. And so there's like some trees and a nice view of the river and the mountains past it. So kind of a good view for what room you got.
It's actually
Ayana
quite
will
gorgeous.
Ayana will just kind of like sit down on the bed or one of the beds. I'm not entirely sure what kind of bed situation it is.
Yeah,
But she'll
so this room has 2 beds.
fantastic. She'll
Yeah.
claim a bed and she'll take the pouches and the journal that she pilfered and just kind of like toss it on the bed, open them up, see what's inside.
Yeah, so as far as what you snatched from the fishman, you first there are a couple of bags that you swiped and as well as that journal. The bags that you swiped, one of them contains coins. You will find. Go ahead and roll me a d20 and a d10. All right, and that d10. You can find 4 gold pieces as well as 16 silver.
That might be
And
the
that's,
highest D20
bad.
roll I've seen you make in recent years.
Like ever, right?
I know, right? Yes, there's 4 gold and 16 silver in there, and in the other bag, you open it up and you see that it is actually full of more of those golden scales that Miranda inspected.
Ha!
So it's full of golden fish scales.
But they're not like worth anything.
Well,
we're aware of?
if you want to inspect it, you can make like an investigation check now that you have one up close.
Totally gonna inspect it. When I get my character sheet, there it is.
Can I assist since I was
Yeah, you can
looking at them
assist.
earlier?
Yeah, so you have advantage on the check.
Sweet. 17.
17.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so as you're kind of looking at this fish scale, you can definitely see that it doesn't really feel like a fish scale. It kind of does feel like one, but the surface just isn't right. It kind of feels unnatural, and after you hold it for a bit, you actually break it in half accidentally, and at that you realize that it actually is a fish scale, but it's actually red, and the outside of it is just painted gold.
Man came in with a shiny Magikarp and tried to lie that it wasn't a Magikarp.
That's exactly what he did. Okay, so she'll just kind of like look at it and she'll like, whatever, and kind of like wipe her hands on her pants and then just look to the journal and flip through that real quick.
Yeah, so the journal actually is just basically like a ledger of a couple of things. On some of the pages, specifically those in front, you can see a record of sales. You can see that this man has not really had much business. There are a few days that passed by with him not managing to sell any of these fish, although he did sell one 3 days ago. So there is that. And he actually writes a note next to it that says, "I actually sold one, hooray!" That is just kind of
Any information as to who they sold it to?
There actually is a little box, and he says, "Kobold, green scales, seemed friendly."
That's awesome.
Where did Kobold get 25 gold?
Don't ask questions. How about that? How about you mind your business?
I'm scared of
anyway,
kobolds around here.
Sorry, I was gonna say as she's going through those, I'm just looking over the two notices to see if there's anything that isn't obvious at first. You know, if there's like words that look like they were erased, or you know, something hidden on the notes in any way, anything that seems suspicious or indicative of anything beyond the words given.
Make an investigation check.
But of course, I don't mind if I do. It's a nice +0 to that, so, you know, it's a 6.
Yeah, you look over the two notices and you don't really see anything hidden about them. They're just written
You
as
joined
they
the
are.
sixes. Good job.
I know, right? I mean, there's the Mighty 9. You guys are like the Mighty 6.
It's still not the right number of people either. So, it looks as if there have been murders happening at the Silver Dragon Resort, or we could investigate mysterious black mist. Black mist smoke? I don't know. Anyway, people have been going missing in the amazing Technicolor mist, and people have been getting killed at the Silver Dragon.
Both of those sound kind of sucky. Like, I feel like I'd be putting my life on my line for like either of those. I'm not thrilled about that. I kind of want to have something that's like easy and free.
On
You know, I
the
don't
plus
like
side-
dying.
On the plus side, well, first of all, I would never let you die. But second, Ling Ho at the resort's lounge, we could probably assume that he's the owner, right? That could be a very lucrative job.
That could. Didn't like that fish dude totally say that the silver dragon was kind of like high class?
He did,
Possibly.
actually.
And we could, if we are performing this service, this public service, perhaps we could even have a free stay, or convince him to
Oh.
include some worthwhile food and beverage in the deal. Who's
Oh
to
man,
say?
like a free stay would be like a nice little pampering. I like that. And then you know, like I guess like silver linings on things too, because like if rich people are dead, they don't need their stuff.
This is also true. We could perhaps have a few night shifts, as it were. On the other hand, as well, though, there is value in public service that is just public service, and this person
Yeah,
wants to
no.
meet at the shrine. So, I mean, never underestimate the value in being a folk hero, my dear. It's people will
would
do a
not
lot
really-
for you if they reveal
Okay.
you.
Well, that's kind of the problem, though, because like if they know who I am, then they'd see me coming. They'd be paying attention to me, and if they're paying attention to me, I can't pilfer their pockets.
I'm not asking that they pay attention to you. I'm saying that they should pay attention to us.
Maybe they could pay attention to you. Ooh, I like that.
Yes, most definitely. And we can accomplish goals together, and then they can stay focused on my illustrious self.
You do kind of have that whole regal standing going on. It's pretty cool to watch, actually. I can
Yeah,
see that
she-
commanding presence, just kind of like pulling everybody into the room, be like, "Look at me."
Ironically, that's not one of the Battlemaster maneuvers they took.
Oh, it should be.
She beams at those remarks, and sort of like, kind of like preens a little bit with her crown braided hair, and yes, well, hiding only serves to a point, and with skills like mine, sneakery is far from the mind. So, here is my suggestion. We deal with this Silver Dragon Resort first. And once we have done so, we will likely have good standing with him, a nice room, pampering the works. And then if things go awry with the black mists, we'll have somewhere nice to retreat to. A soft bed, a warm fire, a nice bath, massages, perhaps?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm down for a total spa day. It's been so long. We've been on the road for like so long. I can't remember the last time that I had my hair done.
As a note, right now it's kind of like a mid-afternoon, so say about 3 p.m. is what it would be right now.
Noted. Yes, it's been a long time for me as well. I mean, while I do look gorgeous with the crown braid, it is something of a survival style, more so than a vain one. So, should we perhaps just investigate tonight and see where things go? We have plenty of day left.
Let's go and so we've got this room. Things are nice and safe here. I can take and oh, by the way, and she'll toss Miranda 2 gold, 8 silver. Is that what that comes to?
I don't know, I wasn't paying attention to do the math.
I
I'm
got
sorry.
like 416. So yeah, you get 2 gold, 8 silver. She'll just toss your way. I've at least got funding so that we can go play at the carnival for a bit and kind of see what's going on. Maybe
Ooh.
I can find other things at the carnival to bring back.
Yeah, there
but
could be rumors of a sort as well that could help us with these tasks as they are.
Definitely. And we could also just kind of maybe go just check out the whole vibe of the place, go over to the Silver Dragon, see if we can't find Ling Ho. I do think it's probably wise that we at least put our name in, be like, hey, it's us, we got this, so that they know. But everyone's asking if we're here for the festival, so we should probably at least pretend like we care about this festival.
I do care about the festival. It's a wonderful way to meet people that you'll never see again, and there's a freedom in that, I think. Yes.
I love the way you think. It's fantastic. Okay, so we'll hit the festival on the way to the Silver Dragon Resort. We'll just kind of see what we see.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Well, do you think we have to take these down with us, or will someone retrieve them later? We didn't ask first.
Take what down?
These dishes, the plates, the mugs. Do you think we need to take them down with us, or will someone retrieve them?
I think that if we don't take them down, they're gonna think we're jerks. And we are jerks, but we don't want them to think we're jerks.
I like to think that we are jerks to people who deserve it, and in my experience, those in the service industry never do. So,
Agreed.
Yeah, we'll take our dishes downstairs and go
Stack
visit
them
the
nicely.
carnival. Yes, of course. We'll go visit the carnival with the remainder of our afternoon and evening.
Sounds like a plan. So as you kind of exit that, so as you exit the inn, it's still kind of mid afternoon. It's a nice kind of sunny day, although there is a little bit of haze in the sky, and it's a little cool. It is summer, but it is pretty cool for it, as you are kind of up in the mountains. And as you step outside, you again pass by that street that you were on. You can actually see the fish guy kind of way off to the side as you kind of walk, not quite that way, but parallel, but kind of perpendicular to it. You can see that pottery Aarakocra man from before, who has like various pots for sale. You can see the flag person. But you can also see a few. But also, as you walk through, you can see a few other things as well. You see that there are a couple of stalls that have games of sorts that are being offered. There's one that kind of offers this board game that is kind of like a game of skill, kind of like a checkers almost type game. Like if you've ever played Go, it's basically like that.
I have not. I have no earthly clue what you're
yeah.
talking about.
Yeah, it's a game that's kind of like checkers. You have like white pieces and black pieces, and your goal is to kind of surround the other. Is kind of just surround the other side's pieces, kind of.
Neat.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But there's one stall that has that as a game. There's another that is kind of like a wrestling game where people are paired up with these constructs that people. There's this one man that's kind of standing outside the front here who is advertising this wrestling construct that he imported all the way from Valen, and how by night he shoots fireworks, but during the day he wrestles. And
a wrestling
then there's
construct. Sorry, I didn't. My apologies.
Yeah. And then there's another that kind of has this like these cards on a table. It's kind of like a fortune teller of sorts, and you can kind of get your fortunes read as well. And finally, there is a game that has a couple of longbows that are kind of laid up against a wall, and it's basically like an archery game. And then, of course, along with the other facilities I mentioned before.
Of course.
In fact, I'll bring you back to the map, because it's already clear that you're going to the Silver Dragon Resort first. So let me activate the map.
I think I would like to try out this wrestling construct.
Yeah, so the man that's there, he's actually first of all, he's a gnome, and a kind of this gray-skinned gnome, and when you walk up, he just kind of says, well, hello to both of you. I see you've taken interest in my wrestling construct. By night he shoots fireworks, by day he wrestles. Are you brave enough to try and take him on?
Oh yes, I think I am. Iona, would you mind holding onto my coat for a few moments?
Yeah, totally.
She'll slide it off and like sort of gingerly place it in Iona's hands. It's quite heavy. It is lined with chainmail in the like in between the layers. It is a rather heavy and protective garment. When she hands it to you, but when she takes it off, the blouse she has underneath is sleeveless and has like the ruffles around her neck and down her chest. And you see her arms for maybe the first time, and she is quite built. She is far more athletic than her garb would suggest. You see a rather built and practiced muscle, the odd scar over her arms just because of a number of years spent adventuring and traveling. And she steps forward.
Ah, well, I see you are going to try taking on my marvelous construct. Well, prepare yourself, because this construct is no pushover whatsoever. And he wanders over to where the construct is and kind of flips a few switches. This construct, by the way, it looks to be made out of kind of a combination of wood and metal. It's kind of heavy set. It appears to be made out of this kind of suit of splint mail that is kind of stretched across and built around with more wood and metal kind of on the outside of it. Has these arms that look pretty sturdy. It looks pretty top heavy. The legs are actually not as thick as the arms are, and it actually has a face that has a couple of glowing eyes set into it as well as a mouth that actually has hinges, so where it could kind of either smile or frown. And currently it is smiling as he switches on this construct, and it kind of roars to life and says, "All right, prepare yourself." And he kind of holds up a bell and kind of strikes it.
A quick clarifying question, if I may.
Yeah?
Is this purely grappling and writhing, or is this more of a is this? Am I allowed to strike the creation? Will it strike me, or is it more of a grappling
It's more
scenario?
of a grappling thing.
Understood.
Yeah. Yeah, so this construct kind of runs at you and grabs you and tries to throw you around and pin you to the ground. Go ahead and make a strength check.
Straight strength or
Straight
athletics
strength.
or okay.
Just straight strength.
I guess it's the same modifier anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
11.
11. That's. Yep. So you try to fiddle around with this construct, and this construct pushes you and jostles you. You push back a little bit, but then it all of a sudden swings around and pins you from behind and tackles you to the ground. And the gnome happily dings the bell again and says, and that is round 1, and it is the construct that wins. That was a very nice try, but I'll tell you what, you get 2 more tries at this, and this first time is 3. It is free. If you want future attempts after the 3 tries, you will have to pay 10 gold.
Understood. And what is the prize if I win?
Your prize? Well, it depends on how many times you win. You can win all sorts of things. In fact, there is this one prize that you can win if you happen to win all 3 attempts, which unfortunately you didn't win this first time. But you get a little cash prize if you win only a couple of attempts. But if you happen to win all 3, well, then you would have won this little gizmo that I came up with. And it kind of holds out this little tiny bottle that appears to be like an ink bottle of some sort that has like a needle sticking out of it.
Interesting.
But this is the grand prize. If you happen to win 3 out of 3.
Understood. Okay. I have a question for you. So it isn't combat strictly speaking, and there aren't attacks necessarily. But could I conceivably I'm gonna print something to the thing so it's for clarity's sake. Could this maybe like give disadvantage to the construct's strength things? Or could I like burn my action surge to give myself advantage?
Say you can try that parry maneuver when he tries to push you, and that'll actually lower the DC of the strength check.
Great. Okay, so I would like to use that on this next round. And I will make sure to deduct the resource. And do you want me to like roll the superiority die to see how much it reduces it, or?
You'll roll the strength check first, and then you'll roll the superiority die.
Understood.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So round 2 begins as the bell rings once more, as the wrestling construct runs up to you once more and pushes you around a bit. Go ahead and make that strength check.
Dirty 20.
Well, you don't even well, you don't even need to parry actually, so you don't even need to spend the resource as before this guy can even react. You push him all the way to the ground, and the gnome excitedly dings the bell again and said, "Ah, well done! You actually won that round."
I do my best not to lose twice in a row. It's dreadful for the reputation. I believe we have one more round, yes?
One more round, that is correct. And he sets up the wrestling construct again and dings the bell once more. Go ahead and make a third strength check.
Ooh, even
and
better.
Once more, you try to you push before the wrestling construct can even react. You push it back, and it falls to the ground. He tries to push you off of him, but he fails, and the bell rings again, and he says, "Ah, yes, that is 2 out of 3. Excellent. It's a shame that you were so close to the grand prize. Had you had another try, you probably would have won it, or at least had a chance at winning it."
Could I perhaps give you 5 gold for simply one more attempt?
Go ahead and make just like a straight charisma check.
Sure, I have a -1 to that. It's a 0.
Yeah.
I rolled a 0.
Wow.
He shakes his head and says, "Well, unfortunately, that's going to be no dice. However," he kind of reaches into his pocket and pulls out a couple of gold coins that he gives to you. "This is your prize."
Wonderful. Is it literally a couple, like 2, or?
Yep, 2 gold pieces.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. And she'll climb back out of the ring and retrieve her jacket after dusting herself off. Thank you so much for holding on to that. I hope it wasn't too boring for you.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
no.
this was actually quite exciting. You did very well in those last 2 rounds.
Sometimes it's helpful simply to see what your opponent can do.
Indeed.
She'll put her coat back on and adjust all of her things. This was made clear last season, and I forgot to describe her this season. Among her, she travels fairly light, but one thing she always makes sure she has with her, in an odd little holster on her hip, is a teacup and a saucer. Because while I was looking up reference images,
last season.
yeah. While I was looking up reference images for Miranda, when I was trying to pass stuff to Tiff for art, that was among the images, and I was like, "Ha, that's amazing. That's so dumb. I love it." So I decided
Nice.
she has a teacup with her at all times. So yeah, she
Well,
adjusts
gotta make-
everything and makes sure she's cleaned off again. And right, you wanted to check out some of these games as well, yes?
Saying that to Ayana.
Yes.
I could go down for one of these games. Which one do you think is going to be I couldn't do what you did. What you did, that's you. You did a fantastic job. Not my thing.
Oh
What
well,
other games are there?
that
Well, there
bow
was that
shooting
checkers-like
game.
one. There was the archery, and then there was a fortune teller sort of thing.
The archery game is probably in your wheelhouse. It's very dexterity based, yes.
Yeah, let's go try the archery game. We'll start there. See what's going on.
After that, we should absolutely get our fortunes read.
Yeah, so you go to the archery game, and there's this there's another dragonborn woman kind of standing there. This one having blue scales, as she and kind of wearing these robes and stuff, and she waves to you as you step up to the archery game, and she's holding a couple of bows, a couple of these long bows, and actually a couple of long bows and a couple of short bows, as she waves to you and says,
Ah, hello. Are you interested in trying this archery game?
Absolutely. So, what am I supposed to hit?
She gestures, and off in the distance there are a few different targets of various different sizes, and there's a pretty large one, there's a medium-sized one, there's a couple of really tiny ones, and she says,
Now, the aim of this game is to just simply shoot one of the targets with one of the provided arrows, and depending on which targets you hit, you can win like a different prize based on what you hit.
Super fun. Yeah, I could do that.
Like if you hit the big one, for instance, you win 1 gold piece. If you hit this medium-sized one, you win 3 gold pieces. And if you hit one of the tiny ones, well, you'll get 3 shots. If you manage to hit it 3 times, you will get the grand prize, which will be kind of a special quiver that I've put together here.
Okay, I totally have to try this. And she'll pick up a bow and make an aim.
So, here's where I ask, are you proficient with either a short bow or a long bow?
Required me looking at my proficiencies.
As a rogue, you should be proficient
hand
with a short bow.
crossbow. Got simple
Probably.
weapons.
I think short bows are simple weapons.
Yeah, so I have simple weapons: a hand crossbow, long sword, rapier, short sword.
Okay. Yeah, so she hands you so in that case you can easily pick a short bow as your weapon of choice. And as you kind of pick it up, she provides you with like a few arrows, 3 arrows specifically. And as you and now you have a few targets that you could potentially hit. Go ahead and tell me which one you're aiming for, small, medium, or large.
She is going to aim for the medium first.
Okay. And actually, I might have botched the. Never mind. Go. Sorry. Yeah. So she's gonna aim for the medium one. Go ahead and make as you let the arrow fly. Go ahead and make a dexterity check and add your add your proficiency bonus. So kind of like as if you were making an attack with that bow.
Let's see if this works.
A 17 as that bow hits that as the arrow hits the circle on that target. As there's a little bit of a sound, and I said,
"Oh, you hit the medium target once. Excellent, excellent. You get 2 more shots."
Super cool. And then she is going to cough as she is getting her next arrow ready.
Yeah. And if you want to take your next shot, please just tell me which. Oh, you're using mage hand. What are you doing with that hand?
She's just gonna cough as she's getting her next arrow ready as she aims for the small target.
Oh, okay.
Get some help with that.
It's gonna fly
So are
super
you,
slowly.
So what are
She's
you
gonna be
actually
carried
using-
across, dude.
So what are you actually using that mage hand for? Are you like holding the target in place, or like what?
How, like, it's a small target, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably less than 10 pounds.
Yeah, it's less than 10 pounds.
So, the mage hand is just gonna kind of like hold the target and move it around to try to help her hit the bullseye.
At that, as you see the target moving, the dragonborn just waves a hand and calls out, "No cheating."
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean, like cheating?
This target is not supposed to move.
Okay.
Did you, just out of curiosity, did you use any of the optional / alternate class features from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything?
Probably.
Because there's
I
a really
usually
useful
do.
one for this. There's an ability that rogues can have from that book called Steady Aim. As long as you don't move, you can use your bonus action to give yourself advantage on your next attack.
That's
Yeah.
fun. I don't know if I did that. Let me look.
I don't know either. I don't know your sheet, but that's an
Well-
option you could have had if you turned on optional features and like chose it.
Ta-da.
And as you're thinking, the dragonborn just kind of takes the target, puts it back in its spot.
There was
so
an
much for
attempt.
my invisible mage hand. Jeez.
No, you should have
Alright.
summoned it before you started playing.
Well, that's what she was doing. She was summoning it before she started playing so that she could, like, try to get it to move. Like, the point was it was going to, like, kind of move the target as she let the arrow out, but I guess that wasn't made.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay. So, she's going to shoot again.
It was a nice idea, but kind of an obvious thing.
She's not always subtle.
Yep, so go ahead and make that attack roll. If you want a steady aim, you have advantage, and go ahead and add your proficiency bonus.
I can do this. So it was basically +7, so I'm just going to roll it that way. And then we decided that ADV doesn't work. Is that what we figured out?
I'm not sure, actually.
What was that?
There should be an
Yeah, it
option to
yells
roll
at me.
with advantage.
Yeah,
That
keep
requires me
highest-
clicking on things, so I can do that. I'll just do it this way.
I mean,
I think 2d20 KH1 should work, probably.
yeah.
17 again.
Yeah. So you try to aim for the small target, and unfortunately the shot, I mean, it kind of grazes the side of the target without actually hitting it.
It's a little bit smaller than I thought.
Do you have one more
And you
shot?
get one more shot.
Yeah, so she's gonna take her other shot.
And which one are you aiming at this time?
The small one again. She has
Okay.
to figure it out.
And with that, yeah. And with this time, you actually do hit that one, as the small target, as you hit it right in the center. As the Dragonborn just kind of claps and says, "Ah, you did it! You did it! You actually hit the small one. Unfortunately, you only hit the small one once, but here is your prize for hitting that medium-sized target once." And she takes out 3 gold pieces and hands them over.
So, like, it's just for the medium? I'm not entirely sure. So, like, the small one doesn't count for anything?
The small one, unfortunately, you have to hit it at least twice in order to get something.
Oh, well, can I try again?
That will be 10 gold if you wish to try again.
Dang it, because I was going to use lucky on that, but it's not going to work for that. She thinks. Because she only won 3, and she only managed to pilfer 2. Any chance that I could get it for, like, 5?
Make a persuasion check. She shakes her head.
Nope, sorry. The rules are the rules.
Yeah, totally cool, totally fine. So just out of curiosity, if I had hit it twice, then, like, what would I have gotten?
You would have gotten 5 gold.
Oh, okay. Not worth 10 gold to get 5. Good to know. Okay, thanks. Free money. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome.
And then she'll head on back. And then we'll go hit the tarot cards before we wrap up.
If you want to.
It's up to
Or
you.
you
Do you feel like we have time to do that? It's running a little long for this game, but it's not a problem.
Yeah, it is running a little long. Yeah, because we
If
normally
you think
end
it would be
at
fairly
at
quick,
what,
we could do that.
30?
Yeah, we're about 10 minutes past right now, but we could also we start typically at 6:45 and end at 7:45, but we started a
Yeah.
little bit early, so we're going a little bit late, but we also go to 45 so that we can go to 8 if we need to. So we've still got flexible time if we want to, but we'd want to be done in the next 20 minutes tops.
We could always
Yeah.
start with the tarot reading next session if you like.
Could also do that.
Yeah, could also do that. That's probably a good idea.
Let's do that then.
Yeah, so
Great.
this is where we will be wrapping up. So next time, we will be continuing this little kind of carnival thing. And and then it seems the party has chosen to take on the job at the Silver Dragon Resort first. And so we'll probably get to that as well on this next episode of For Hire.
On the next episode, please hang out with us again. Are we going to try a downtime this week, or are we skipping it? What's the plan?
I don't have one.
All right. We might have a downtime. We might
Yes.
not. Either way, please join us back here Mondays. We are live at 5 Pacific. See you
Live
then.
at 5. See you soon.
Yep.